Good morning, folks. Alex Posani here, about to upload and post the Logan Plant episode from last night. We went a little bit late, and I didn't have time to get this thing going before the night ended. I just wanted to say before I post this that the conversation did get a little spicy. There were some things said, and this podcast is fun. We're having fun. Everything was in a comedic vein, and the opinions of my guests don't necessarily reflect my opinions. So I just wanted to say that just as a disclaimer. We're having fun here. No harm intended. Hopefully, no harm done. But with that, I hope you enjoy the podcast. Hello, and welcome to 25 Degrees with Alex Posani, here with Logan Plant. Not Brady.
No, that would be the younger brother.
That would be the younger brother. He is not present, but you are. And we're here to talk hockey, or really just whatever we want to talk about. That's the beauty of this platform, this medium. We can say whatever we want to say.
I like that. I like that a lot. But
Yeah.
how much swearing am I allowed to do?
As much as you want. You know what? I'm
Wonderful.
gonna set the tone with my soundboard here. I'm gonna set the tone because that's what we gotta do.
Shut up, bitch.
I like it. That
Yeah.
works for me.
Yeah. So, dude, it's been a while. How have you been?
Not too bad. I've been pretty busy with work, and I skate and pick up leagues and men's leagues just to keep myself conditioned for college hockey. But everything's good. How about you?
Dude, I've been balling. We've been having a good time. Just it's the start of my, call it off season, but it's not even an off season. I mean, I go straight into baseball. So
Yeah, I'm
that's
playing baseball too, so I get it.
yeah. Well, I'm not playing, thankfully for everybody else out there. I'm more on the PA side of things, but it's still, a ton of fun, and making my NCAA debut tomorrow with Dartmouth College. So
That's a big one.
pretty
Congratulations.
oh, dude, thank you. It's been always knew I'd go D1. Didn't really expect to do it as a PA guy, back when I thought that was going to be how things go. But hey, here we are,
Hey, nothing wrong with that. As long as you're enjoying what you're doing, that's all that matters.
They don't ask how, they ask how many.
Exactly.
So, you and we go back to, I guess you were playing in the NA3 the year before I got up here.
My first year was the 21 into 22 season, yes.
Yeah, so you played against my good buddy, Lefty Lefkoff, on the Danbury Junior Hat Tricks. You remember Lefty?
Jeez. Depends. Was he a forward or defenseman?
I think he was up. We gotta look this up. Connor Lefkoff.
Lefkoff. There's so many Ovs because they love their Russians in Danbury.
Well, he's I think Polish. He's my former boss in Dallas. He's a defenseman. My former boss, it's his son.
Oh, no way. All right.
Yeah.
Well, if he was a defenseman, probably not. I tend to remember more the guys I lined up with for the draws because I was a
Right.
centerman. So, like, True Crew was definitely the most memorable for me my second year of juniors, lining up against him just about every single draw.
I have some controversial thoughts on Brody True.
Oh, such as.
Okay. I think what he did was good for the NA3. I thought it brought a lot of exposure to the NA3 that the NA3 wouldn't have otherwise had. I also thought, because I remember he got into it with one of our guys, they both got roughing minors. He refused to drop his gloves, and he was big dogging the other guy in the penalty box over how many subscribers he had, which
Yep, that
I
sounds
thought,
like Brody.
I mean, like, I'm going to say this. I'm a YouTube guy. Like, obviously, I'm trying to make a career out of this. I'm trying to, monetize this podcast and build a business. So, like, I get it. But if I ever got, like, into it with somebody, I would not be big dogging them based on how many subscribers I have.
No, that was always one of the weird things. Like, him and I always were pretty good. Like I said, I lined up against him a lot. But even you might even be able to see it on TikTok or in one of his videos because I'm pretty sure it's there. I sent him into an absolute helicopter spin cutting across the blue line when he had the puck, and he never said anything like that to me, but when he did chirp guys about that, I would just sit there and kind of scratch my head like, you think that really matters with the fact that we're playing a hockey game right now? Like,
Right.
you think that's a big chirp, or you think that makes you really cool or anything? Like, yeah, the exposure is great. I loved it. The fact that he brought that to the NA3 and stuff, but using it as a chirp was kind of always weird for me, but I think he's a great guy in general. Like I've never had any issues with him. I think he's a good person.
Right.
As far as he's a great player and all. Sometimes you're not super clever when it comes to the chirps, and it happens to the best of us.
Hey, I mean, I've been caught up in it before, and it's always embarrassing. But the thing is that, like, I'm gonna say this about True is, I think everything he says comes from the heart. Like, he is a guy who there's no pretending how he feels. I thought he was a very genuine person.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I always admired that, because you'd watch his videos and he wasn't like playing up things. He made himself vulnerable in ways that I feel like a lot of junior hockey players would not be willing to do so, like,
yeah, he's always been super real. Like,
right.
He's not one of those influencers that fakes everything just to get the subscribers. Like,
Right.
he's there, he does his thing, and it's out on the table, which I respect about him tremendously, because not a lot of people can do that. But it like I said, sometimes stuff like that goes to your head, and you say things in the game that they just don't land, and it is what it is. But as far as I've always liked him as a person. I think he's a great guy. I have no beef with him. Never have. He's always been a straight shooter. I always know what he's been about. So
right. And I think it takes a level of, like, I always say this, I know who I am. Like, I don't have to pretend to be somebody else, because I am very familiar with who and what I am. And it's not always a good thing. It's not always something that I'm, proud of. Like, but it is what it is. Like, I can only try and do better the next time around. I can't change who, like, everything about me.
Yeah,
But he knows
it is what it is.
It's the same thing. He knows who he is.
Oh yeah,
And,
for sure.
And I admire that. Like, I admire anyone who has...
It takes a lot to do what you both do, to put yourselves out on a media platform and be yourselves. And because there are a lot of people that they're out there doing what they think is going to get them subscribers and stuff. But you guys, you keep it real, and that takes a lot to understand who you are and just be who you are. So I have a tremendous amount of respect for the both of you for doing what you guys do.
And, I appreciate that because, I was having this conversation with Brandon last night about Brandon Snyder, former Major League Baseball player, World Series champion, by the way.
Yes.
We had...
Saw that.
It was a baller epi. I mean, it was... That's going to go down like... I've done radio, I've done podcasts, I've done videos. That's going to go down as one of the best things I've ever, produced. And I feel like I'm going to be saying that, even, if I'm lucky enough to be doing this for, a couple decades, I feel like that was especially strong. And that's a good feeling. I
was really hoping that would be me. Damn it.
Hey, we got time. We got time. You telling us we can't?
There's no beating out a former major leaguer in any sport. That's quite an accomplishment. That's when I'm like, hey, after this episode, if I throw a baseball card in the mail, you mind signing it for me so I can put that on my shelf just to remember the occasion?
Dude, I know, right?
That's pretty cool.
He was my brother's favorite player when he was on the Rangers.
Way.
So we're gonna run it back, Brandon and I, next week, and I'm going to be back home in Dallas. I'm very much looking forward to, going home and visiting the family. I'm going to make sure, as a long belated gift to my brother, that we do a pod while he's around. So
that would be cool.
Yeah, everyone wants to meet your favorite player from when you're 11 years old. It's a special time. Sweet. I mean, who was your favorite athlete when you were 11?
Oh, when I was 11, David Krejci.
That is
solid. I loved Krejci. Even though Bergeron and Marchand were there, David Krejci was just always, that was my guy. Because he was a straight shooter. He may not have scored fancy goals, but when he scored, you knew it, and he would set up the other guys to do what they had to do, and he'd play solid defense and win his draws, and that's all I've ever tried to do.
It's not a bad thing to do. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it won the Bruins a lot of games.
Exactly. He just did his job. That's what I always liked about Krejci. He was the guy who you could count on to just... You knew what he was going to go out there and do, and he did it.
So, growing up in New England and New Hampshire, are you a New Hampshire native?
I am. I grew up in Bedford, New Hampshire, about 25, 30 minutes from the Massachusetts border, so down in that area.
So you're familiar with Evan Johnston.
I'm very familiar with Evan. I went to high school with him. He was actually a very good friend of mine in high school. I wish I could speak for him and say that he looked up to me a little bit, but I have no idea. But I do know that he was always very eager to learn from the upperclassmen in high school as he was coming up, and just kind of he earned his time, and when that time came, he was up for the task, and I was out of high school by that time, but it was fun to watch him. Very proud of what that kid's done, for sure.
Talk about another guy who is very confident, he knows who he is, and he's very real. That's the guy, when Evan tells you something, you know exactly, this is from the heart. This is this is my guy telling me something that he's about.
Oh, dude, I watched this kid go from a skinny rail to the jacked bodybuilder he is now, taking absolute care of himself and looking awesome. And I mean, I love Evan, but I'm gonna bash on him just a little bit. He was not the greatest goaltender when I first met him, but he puts in the work, and
Oh, definitely.
he became the starting goalie for our high school after I was gone, and he did it. And if I'm not mistaken, he came pretty damn close to winning a championship, or he did. And I mean, I'm proud of his journey. He really just put it amongst himself to better himself. However, he saw that he wanted to do it, and he's doing it for sure.
It really is something special, and all the best to Evan. That's a friend of the show here. I've had him on a few times. I've had him on the radio, had him on the podcast. That is a guy who, like I said, he knows who he is, and
Oh, yeah.
I feel like there's not enough of that out there.
No, definitely not. Evan's one of a kind for sure. Love the kid, and he's definitely done something special with what he's been doing, and I'm very, very proud of him.
Shout out Trust the Progress. You can see them at the Mall of New Hampshire. Can you believe that?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Such an accomplishment. So,
Might have to go get some merch.
do it. Yeah, hey, you and me both. Let's go. 2021, first year in the NA3 for you. And
Oh boy.
this is back in the day of the Bay State Bobcats.
Oh yeah.
They were
Cowboy
also
hat
around.
coach.
Robert Lane.
Oh yeah, he wore a cowboy hat.
He is now
goofy guy.
Now coaching Anna Maria women's NCAA
No way.
Division III.
Do they suck too?
Let's find out. They had Max McDaniel on the. Do you remember Max McDaniel?
I can't say I do.
That was on your last year.
The biggest names I remember is anyone I fought or anyone I had to match up against, because we were big on to making sure that we shut down the best guys, and that was one of my jobs, was go win face-offs and make sure that their best guy doesn't come in our zone and score.
So they also had Mountain Kings legend Trevor Simonson as the associate head coach.
Yes.
So you knew Trevor.
Did he take over the second year?
I think he was the GM the second year.
Yes, I think so, because he's probably the reason that my second NA3 fight was not broadcasted, because the Bobcats would pan away per GM request from any fights, because they did not want to condone, so to say. But that was, I wish I had that on video, because I broke that kid's nose 2 ways to Timbuktu.
Oh man, well that's smart on Trevor. Trevor's one of those guys. There's some guys that they know the rule and they know how to obey the rules and follow the rules. Trevor is one of those guys. He knows the rule and he wonders to himself, why does this rule exist? And he tries to find workarounds, He's one of those guys, you can trust him to kind of like freelance a little bit,
I wish he would have freelanced a little bit more when I was in that fight instead of letting his guys pan away. That would have been nice. Yeah, zoom in on that.
Oh, man. So, basically the NA3, how often, most fights I would have to imagine are spur of the moment. Like, hey, do you want to go? Is that generally how it goes at the NA3?
Pretty much. Every now and again you'll get a couple of guys that are like, it's coming from a game before. If you're playing a 2-game series, it's like, you know what? I know I got to answer for something stupid I did, and I know who's probably gonna come dish it to me, so I'm ready to go when it comes. But like, all three of my fights were just, hey, what? Like something stupid happened. He's like, you want to go? I was like, fuck it, let's go. And it's just right off the bat, everyone's just throwing haymakers. There's no squaring up or nothing. It's just grab each other and start absolutely brawling. And that's what I loved about watching Mr. Brophy this year. Shout out to him and
The great Nick Brophy.
yes, the Texas native just throwing haymakers. The little guy who can hold his own and just, spur of the moment, you just see him drop gloves with someone to start beating the crap out of him. That's pretty much any threes. Like,
Yeah.
spur of the moment, you want to go? You pissed me off just now, and I'm ready to go if you are.
Right. No, I mean, that's basically how it is. And the thing about Nick is he's been my coworker in 3 different spots. With the Dallas Stars, the Frisco Star Center. I was the scorekeeper there, and he was a front desk associate. I think he was 16 at the time. I was his boss for 2 months with Seacoast hockey officials. He was one of my scorekeepers when he was with the Gins. And then we were coworkers here. That is a dude.
So you've known Brophy for a long time. That's nuts.
Oh my god, yeah,
That must have been cool for you to say his name a lot this year.
it was one of those things where it's like there are certain moments in this game, and I think everyone kind of like experienced this at one point. I think the luckier, the more fortunate you are, the more you experience it, where it's like one of those full circle moments where it's like, man, I have a history with this guy, like going back, and like, look where we are now together. Like this, there was a moment like that for me where I remember when I went on vacation once to Detroit. Not the best vacation spot, but I wanted to see a Red Wings game. And I made a point to go see Luke Hughes with the NTDP. This was in 2020, and in February, the NAHL sent me to Plymouth to PA top prospects, and there I am, USA Hockey Arena, this rink that I traveled from Dallas to visit. And I'm doing a Team USA NTDP game while I'm there. It's like that was a moment. Like, I would come to see this team play on vacation, and now I'm working them. And there are moments like cool. that where it's like, and I'm sure with the hockey world is a small world, even up here. I mean, I bet there were moments for you like you playing like in juniors, playing against a guy you've probably known since you were 5 or 6 years old. You probably have a couple of those, right?
Jake Rosengall, when he was on Bay State, he did play for the Mountain Kings for at least a season. But Jake Rosengall played for the Bobcats when they were still an organization, and I actually played with him in middle school, and I've known him for a very long time. We actually used to call him Snots, because his nose was always running from the cold. So it was super cool to see him all of a sudden. I was like, holy crap, what a small world, playing against a guy that I used to play with back in 5th, 6th grade. And it was always a big smile on our faces when we'd run into each other, big hug before the game. It's like that brotherhood just never dies with hockey players. Like, it just... There's a certain level of respect, and then because we were former teammates, there was a little bit of camaraderie there, and so it was always a good time to see him and ask him how he's doing, make sure everything's good at home and stuff, and that's how hockey players are. We're always looking out for our own, and it was always fun to see him for sure. But I'd say he's the only one from my hometown except for Caleb Belland, who played 1 year for New Jersey, my second year, year below me in high school. I didn't know him very well, but he went to my high school, got the shit kicked out of him because he boarded one of our guys, and our coach said, hey, that's your guy, go kill him, and sure enough, he got the absolute shit kicked out of him. Didn't even throw a single punch. He just got his jersey tucked over his face and got his face bashed in, so that was fun. But yeah, Jake is definitely the best example of that, where it's just like, look at what we're doing, man. Never would have imagined us both being here. This is cool.
It's one of those things I always, one of my big things is, at the end of the day, I'm just a kid from Richardson, Texas. Like, that is who I am. That is who I will always be. And no amount of success. I mean, I could make it to the top. I could, be an NHLPA guy tomorrow. I could be doing game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. No amount of success will ever take away the fact that I am just a kid from Richardson, Texas. And that's one of those things I think, when you know a guy for so long and you know a guy before they get big, that's something that I think really never goes away, right?
For sure. I mean, like, you even see NHL guys, like, I grew up playing with this guy, and they'll say to me, he's just that kid from my hometown. He's just whatever his nickname is. Like, I knew him when he was 10 years old, and we grew up playing together. To me, he's just this guy. He's not an NHL player to me. Like,
right.
Which is nuts. It's just like, that's the type of thing that no matter how big you get, the people you really know you for you. They don't know you for your success. They know you for who you are, which is a really cool thing.
I went with a buddy of mine to Stars and Habs up in Montreal, and my buddy, I'm a diehard Stars fan, like, that's, born and raised, but my buddy went to North Andover and grew up playing with Colin Blackwell.
No way.
So after the game, I got to meet Colin. He gave me his stick. He scored a goal with that night, which was really cool.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, no, it was an awesome moment, and they were just talking and just shooting the shit about, just stuff that, obviously I didn't experience with them. I didn't grow up in North Andover, but they're mentioning names. They're mentioning, the bus rides. They're mentioning practice stuff. And, just these two guys, just, that common, the brotherhood that you forge with these guys. Like, I mean, I'm sure that if you run into any one of the guys you played at Long Beach with, it'd be a similar thing, would it not?
Oh, dude, it's always the biggest hug and how you doing? So I was an age out in 2023, and then the Mountain Kings became a thing. I was like, holy crap, I get to see some of the guys that I used to play with. They'll be here. Obviously, it might not be a well-known thing, but vets draft rookies at the beginning of the year and stuff, and I got to see my rookie play, and Coach Torrey, him and I have a great relationship. He let me come down to the locker room, say hi to the guys. So, like, all the guys that were there, my family and I, we took them out to dinner and just hung out with them. And I got to see my rookie, and that was really cool. I still call him Rook. But even, like, McAvoy grew up playing at the rink that I played at for juniors, and our scorekeeper grew up with his younger sister. Like, she just knows Charlie, and she gets starstruck at the fact when he comes home, and he looks at her, he's like, you've known me your whole life. Like, stop making googly eyes at me. But it's always the funnest. It's so fun to see the guys you used to play with. I still keep in touch with quite a few of them, just checking in, see how everyone's doing. Got 3 former teammates from Alaska, so it's like, I'll text them at whatever time, and I'll get a response at some point.
Right. Hey, first of the month in Alaska, they get oil dividends.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and my dad spent a year or so in Fairbanks when he was like 12, and he told me that people, like, they get like $1,000 a month, and they would the liquor stores stay open 24 hours, and everyone just goes and buys booze.
There's
So
one of my Alaskan buddies told me that a lot of the natives that can't afford, like all the poverty natives that can't afford actual booze, they'll go and get mouthwash, and they end up in the ER a lot because they're getting poisoned by the mouthwash because that's all they can afford to drink to get drunk. They'll just down a bottle of mouthwash.
dude,
alcohol.
That's nails.
It's crazy. I'm like, how do you deal with that? He's like, we shoot them when they trespass on our property. Those damn natives. I'm like, okay, bub.
Nothing really ever
He
changes.
was the biggest
there.
guy on the team, so I'm like, I'm not gonna argue with you. You're 6'2", 250. You're hardest hitting defenseman. I'm not gonna argue with anything you say. Dude could bench press me in his sleep. He was bench pressing like 300-400 pounds in the gym. I was like, I'm not messing around with him. He clocked a Danbury kid so hard that he got up and forgot he was playing hockey. He tried to walk off the ice instead of skate.
Oh, man.
It was bad. It was really bad. He beat the absolute crap out of him.
That is something really, really, like, you don't see that in other sports.
No.
You don't see that. I mean, it's just one of those things that, like, hockey really is something else. And I think that
It's different than every other sport in the fact that, once the game's over and it's all said and done, the respect that everyone has for each other is tremendous, and it shows more than every other sport. Like,
right.
you'll see it a little bit in other professional sports, but in minor leagues and stuff like this, where if you're playing semi-pro baseball, you're not seeing the respect that everyone has for each other. But hockey is it's a known thing. Once the game's over, it's a handshake and a good game.
Right.
It is what it is. When I played against I don't remember his first name. His last name is Kennedy. He played for the Gens, and it was both of our age-out years, and they beat us in the playoffs. And I said, hey, go win the Fraser Cup for our division, won't you? Like, I don't care, because he was the last kid I fought in the NA3, and I said, all the best to you. I hope everything in your hockey career goes the way you want it to go. I hope the best for you, and everything outside of hockey. Why don't you go win the Fraser Cup for our division?
Yeah.
And he had nothing but good things to say to me, and for two guys that tried to beat the crap out of each other, to be able to do that at the end of a year is like, you don't see that in any other sport.
No, you really don't. And that's one of those things that, in baseball, you don't give a fuck if another team, you don't want a team from your division to win at the highest level.
No.
You don't. Like, you
definitely not.
You hate those guys.
Absolutely.
Now,
if I'm a Bruin, I'm not telling the Canadiens to go and win anything, or Toronto, but I wanted something for our division, because our division notoriously had not won for a while, and I'm like, you know what? I have nothing but respect for you guys, the way you play, and it would be pretty cool to see our division have something up there.
And that's one of those things. There's a begrudging level of respect that, it's a camaraderie. It's a respect. You're in a way, you are kind of colleagues at that point.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there are a few guys that I will never respect the way they played, and that's just because they were dirty players and they never did anything but try to hurt people, and there's no place for that,
right,
in any sport. And for those guys, I say I hope you're not playing hockey anymore, because no one needs you running around trying to kill them.
Right.
And there were a few guys, not a lot, but there were a few that were like that, and I'm like, you know what? There's a sport for you, and it's called UFC, and you can go give that a try, and because that's not what hockey's about. And
no.
Funny enough, one of the guys His name was also Logan. There's a picture of him sticking his glove in the back of my glove, trying to push my glove off to fight me. And I was laughing at him. So I got the biggest smile on my face, and he's up in my grill trying to push my glove off my hand so that he has an excuse to drop the gloves and fight me. I'm like, that's all he did. He just wanted to fight people. And he's from Utah, so one of my teammates grew up playing with him. He's like, don't even bother. You'll kick his butt, but like, what's the point? He's a guard.
Right.
Like, he was a third liner. I was playing first line minutes. It's like things
right.
like that.
It doesn't
like
serve your team.
Yeah, there's strategic elements if you're that third line guy to try and take out a first liner. But
Oh yeah.
at the same time, he was also a guy running around just trying to take people's heads off and hurt people. I'm like, I can't respect that style of play. It's like watching Nazem Kadri go and throw a hip check into someone's head while they're down on their knees. There's just no place for that type of stuff.
Right. No, it's. I mean, Radko
Deplorable.
Gudas.
I will say that hit on Matthews, like, he didn't stick the leg out. It didn't look.
Right.
He wasn't trying to do it. That's some of his earlier stuff where, like, you can clearly see him throwing elbows. I would say more like Scott Stevens just elbowing guys in the face coming through the middle. That's the type of stuff that's like, oh geez. But Radko, I mean, he took his beating like a man. He didn't even throw a single punch when Domi came at him. Like, he knew, like, it wasn't on purpose by any means, I don't think. At least by watching it, he didn't stick it out or nothing, and he took his beating like a man and move on.
I admired the hell out of that when he just didn't throw a single punch in return. Like,
he knew what was coming.
Right. But still, I mean, it takes a level of, I think that's a common thread that in this conversation we've had. It takes a level of self-reflection that I don't think a lot of guys have. I mean, it's one of those things where I know, like, I have a policy where if I say stuff that's like, if I say something that is like blatantly offensive and I'm talking shit, I've always said this, you get one free swing at me.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If I'm going to instigate, if I'm going to say stuff that's upsetting to somebody, you get one free swing. After that, all bets are off. He let
I've fought with my brother before, fisticuffs, and I had the first word, and he didn't like it, and so I gave him the first swing after he pushed me over an open fire, and then I proceeded to beat the shit out of him while we were both absolutely drunk out of our minds. But I don't start it, as my dad taught us. You don't start shit, you finish it.
Right.
And that's the type of, what, Radko started it, and he realized that someone was going to finish it, and he just had to take it like a man. So, I mean, I respect that.
Did he go after your ankles like he did this year on the ice?
No, nothing like that. I was sitting down when he pushed me over, and but I get up quick. I'm a springy guy.
Yeah.
And he did try to throw a kick at me, which I've never seen in a fist fight. I'm like, that's interesting. Kicked me in the shoulder, so I said, "Oh, that's pretty neat," and I proceeded to absolutely clock him outside the jaw.
And then all your friends broke it up.
Yeah. As the fiance chimes in, and then all of our friends had to break us up because I was kicking the living shit out of him in a headlock. So.
What did you think of the beautiful stomp from young Brady this year?
I mean, I watched the video and you can't even see it.
Oh, you see it. You see it.
I couldn't find it in the video. So I mean, if you've got a nice view of it, definitely send me that view. Because when I was watching the video, I'm like, there's no way they can suspend him for more than 5 on that. Because I mean, you can get a 10 on that for attempt to injury.
I need to pull the video. We need to do a breakdown of that because I've seen it and it's.
I watched it. I'm like, I can't even see anything because Lassard was just standing in the way. I'm like, I can't even see my brother do anything. Can't even see the kid's leg in the pile. I'm like, there's too many people there. I can't see anything. someone stole some money from her at her house. We had a couple of hood rats living there at the time, and they didn't want to fess up, and it became a whole problem. So that was
All right. Fun. So starting here is where we're gonna resume the. No one's ever gonna hear what was just said. That's the beauty of this.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this. But, dude, hockey players, like junior guys, I think people don't realize when you're on the outside of it, like, these are some wild boys.
Oh, dude, we're nuts. Absolutely nuts. 2 years out there, I don't think I've consumed more alcohol in the 3 years coming out of juniors than I did when I was in juniors. Like, it's nuts. It's that and the camaraderie that you build with these guys. Right. And I mean, I was away from home. I was like 4 or 5 hours away, which gave me a freedom to pretty much do what I wanted to do. But you rely on these guys that you live with and that you play with to have your back in whatever situation you've got. And I mean, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Though, 2 of the best years of my life, coming out of high school, just doing my own thing and building relationships that'll, they're never gonna fade.
Right. When I come home, or when I go home back to Dallas, there's the first thing I do before any, stuff is I go to my grandma's house. And I like to just sit there, the house I grew up in, see the cats, see my grandma, see my brother, just, we can go out and eat in a little bit, just like going home for a little bit and just reminding me, like, what I just drove 30 hours for is a really big thing for me. When you would go home, obviously it's not a 30-hour drive from beautiful Long Beach, but...
About 4 and a half if there's traffic.
Would you take the ferry?
No. I took Washington Bridge. Just get cruising. I always left in the dead of the night or or the earliest of morning, so there's zero traffic.
That's exactly how I do. I will be in Ohio by the time the sun rises on Monday.
Yep, I would leave at 1, 2 a.m. and get home before anyone's going to work.
See, I knew you were a smart guy before.
And I'd hop right in bed, and my parents would wake up and see my car out in the driveway, and they'd know I was home, and they'd come wake my ass up, like, you didn't say you were home. It's like, well, I told you when I was leaving. You should have known that I was going to be here.
I knew you were a smart guy before, but now I'm definitely sure. Like,
I just hate traffic.
I do too, especially if I'm driving a long way.
Yeah, and if I'm alone, it's not so bad if you're with someone, you can have a conversation and stuff, but, like, you're alone, it's just, like, you and your thoughts and the music, and you're, like, you can only take so much at some point. You're just sitting there for half an hour not moving.
You podcast guy?
Oh, yeah, I listen to Chicklets, I listen to Last Podcast on the Left, throw on some fantasy footballers during football season.
My last drive home, I spent like 7 hours listening to you familiar with the podcast Come Town?
I can't say I am.
That's
Sounds interesting.
That's where Stavi got his start.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And Nick Mullen was on. He was there. He was one of the founding members of that.
Oh, okay. I'll have to get that.
Dude, I'm gonna text you some like best of Come Town bits because there is some fucking hilarious stuff on there.
I like it.
And I would have to pull over just because I'm laughing so hard that my sides hurt. So it kind of impeded my progress a little bit, on the way home.
Nothing wrong with that. A little side quest.
Yeah, But man, when I go home, seeing the family is great. I want some barbecue. That's what's on my mind right now.
There's nothing like going home and your parents have whipped up one of your favorite meals because they knew you were coming home, and you just get to sit down and look at your family, and you're like, holy crap, I've missed you guys. And, for me, it's my grandmother lives with my parents and my brother because she had a stroke a while back, so she has to live with them. So it's
Yeah.
like I don't even have to make a special trip to go see her. She's right there. I see everyone all in one house, and it's when I got home in the off season. When I finally got home, my dad he actually cried a little bit when he welcomed me home, and he sent my brother in to go get us both a beer so we could have a beer together and enjoy a nice bonfire outside. So it was always a nice thing coming home, and even for holidays, I would bring home stragglers like the big Alaskan guy I was talking about. Him and I got really really close because we both played together both years, and I brought him home for Thanksgiving, and because he couldn't make it back to Alaska and then come back, and one of the local New Yorkers, his parents were down in the Carolinas for Thanksgiving, so I brought him home with me. And that's the thing about this league is you make those friendships, and the guys that can't go home for certain holidays, you bring them with you, and you have a blast and make sure that they are having a good time, and that they know that they're wanted around, and that they get to have that sense of family around them, even if it's not their own. So I always enjoyed that aspect too, coming home for holidays and stuff and bringing some of the boys back with me that couldn't make it home.
And, just like you take care of your teammates on the ice, you step for them off the ice. You
Exactly.
make sure that they're being taken care of.
Yeah, it's a family. It really is. It's a big family, and those guys, the guys in particular that came over to my place for Thanksgiving and stuff. I mean, those were the guys I was definitely closest with out there. But I mean, the invitation was for anyone and everyone who needed a place to go, and they just happened to be the ones to be like, hey, I would love to come home.
So I've pulled up the Mountain Kings elite prospects, and head coach Clint Cassava
Oh, don't get me started.
says I can send him a message here because we're both verified.
Oh, jeez.
If I send him a message, you think he would respond?
I doubt it, guys. Permission to speak freely?
If we have to edit it out, we will.
I don't like the fucker. I don't like him one bit. I think he's an absolute asshole. He treated his players like dirt for a lot of the season, having guys wanting to quit and not want to play for him. I don't think he knows how to handle players, and honestly, I don't even think he knows how to make proper lines. Seeing some of the guys play with who they were playing with and seeing how they played, I think they could have had 3 very successful lines where they only really had 1. He didn't shake things up enough, and he didn't figure it out, because you got to learn your players, and I don't think he took the time to do that. I think he played his favorites with Landry, Levesque, and Longenager and Ayala, and those 4, pretty much played together the whole time. And then Shackman, who is pretty much their best goal scorer, he lived in my parents' house. That was pretty cool. Got close with him and Seti Swaggart and Liam O'Boyle. Those boys were in the house with my brother, and I think there was a lot of stuff that could have been shaken up. You've got guys that came from the same spot. I think Seti and Tally would have played great. I mean, you've got 4 guys living in the same house. You'd think they'd have some chem. You never even tried it out, stuff like that. I don't think he ever took into consideration, or he was a little stuck in his ways, a lot like, I dealt with the same thing in high school. My high school coach was super stuck in his ways, and, sometimes older coaches are they're like that, and, it is what it is, but at the end of the day, you got to learn to adapt. The game's always changing, and I just don't think he adapted well through the season.
So are we comfortable admitting the upcoming Logan Plante versus Clint Cassava ladder match?
I'm pretty sure if I threw a punch at him, I might fold him in half. He's a little older.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think.
You've never seen me fight either. I gotta send you some of the videos. I gotta send you my NA3 fights, because I'm I'm a lot worse now. I fight a lot harder now than I did back then, and
I
you put
almost
me
got
on
into
flat
it.
ground. I fight a lot harder than I do on skates. I'll tell you what, because there's no rules. There's no
I
rules.
I almost got into it with Cass the first year,
He,
and
he's just not a great. I don't think he's a great guy. I don't know what's going on with him outside of hockey, but a lot of the. I mean, I talked to a lot of the boys because they were always around my parents' house, so I talked to a lot of them, and they were always like, maybe he's going through divorce or something, but it seems like he's got something going on outside of hockey that's he's taking out on us, and I don't want to fucking play for him, and shit like that's what ruins. It ruins a locker room. It ruins a culture, and you can't
yeah,
be having that type of stuff. So I think he just needs to get some stuff in check.
I probably need to like edit out a lot of that right there.
You can. My brother's done playing juniors. I'm done playing
I
juniors. What's he
I
gonna
might
do?
be going back to him next year. You think I want to wear that?
Fuck. It's my opinion, not yours.
Okay. I'll say this.
I mean, he
And,
knows.
like,
My dad was yelling at him from the stands. He knows we don't like him as a Plant family. He already knows.
I will say this, and then this is. I'm going to be completely honest with you. This is straight up, and if Cass asked me this point blank, I would tell him this as well. I disagree with some of his strategies as a coach.
I completely agree.
I disagree with the way he communicates with people at times.
Absolutely.
I
Screaming
disagree.
at your players where the crowd can hear you yelling at a
Right.
player, even especially when it's not really something that's their fault. I watched him pull a goalie and start screaming at him like you
Right.
realize you just let up three on ones and you expect him to not let up 2 goals.
So
What are you screaming at him for?
I disagree with the thing is the crux of it is Cass and I are two very different people. I like to kind of just get out there and be a little bit. I'm a little avant-garde. I'm a little. I like to embrace the weird. I don't think he has any time for that. And
I don't think he's creative at all. He's got zero creativity as a coach. He never tried anything new, which was one of the most annoying things I've ever seen.
The thing about Cass, and I would say this to him, I don't agree with some stuff. I think you can't look at the results in a league where it is very tough to make the playoffs in a tough division. He's taken an expansion team and made the playoffs each 3 years.
Yeah, nothing against him with that, but
right.
I think he could have gotten further if he had a more open mind about a lot of things, and I think that's been their downfall in the later stretch of the season where, if stuff's not working, you gotta shake it up, and he didn't shake it up in a way that was beneficial.
Well, the thing about Cass that I will say is, and it's I think it's been a common thread, he's straight up with, and I think to a fault, he's straight up with people.
There is a point where you need to lay off the gas just a little bit.
Right. But I admire, if I want his honest opinion, I can go to him and he will give it. And he, respects me for what I do. And I respect him for what he does. We have an understanding. And I guess, at the end of the day, that's, he's on the bench and I'm up on the concourse. And as long as we have an understanding, of what we do, it's not a bad setup. And honestly, he and we've found a way to collaborate and work well together. And I guess, like, at the end of the day, that's one of those things where it's, that's, like I said, not a terrible setup because we kind of just, like, I stay out of his way, he stays away from me, and we kind of just
I'd love it if he just stayed away from me. And you know what? I'd never have to deal with him again. So, I'm happy about that. Not a fan of that guy. But Jeff Torrey, I'm his number one fan. Sharks head coach.
What about Chris Pelini?
Chris was on and off when I was there. I mean, I didn't have to deal with him so much. I had to deal with him a little bit. I mean, he recruited me. So that, like, I dealt with him a lot. My first year, my second year, he was kind of phasing out a little bit, dealing with a lot of stuff, and then
Chris Pelini of the Mountain Kings.
Oh shoot, I haven't actually had a lot to do with him.
So I'll say this about Pelini, and I love.
He's the assistant coach, right?
Yes.
From what I've heard, the boys love him. Like,
well,
the boys say, like, he's not a head coach by any means, but he's like the perfect assistant coach where he's there, he's got your back, he's there to lift you up. He'll have a good time. He can be serious when he needs to, and he's like, I'll use a reference from the Olympics. A lot of the guys on the U.S. team said Torts was their cheerleader. He was the assistant coach, and from what I've heard from all the boys, he was great at that, and he was their favorite by far. He was the guy that they could really go to and talk to. So, I mean, I liked him a lot because, as far as I know, he had zero impact on the game, but he had a very good impact on the player morale. So that nothing but positive comes out of that.
I think I've watched Cass and Pelini. They have a very, like, a yin and yang style relationship where Cass sets the expectation for what the message is, and Chris is left to break it down and explain it. And that's not a bad setup at all.
No,
I think it works. I really do think it works.
Pelini he's the guy that the players want to talk to. He's their friend in the locker room, on the coaching staff. He's that guy. You watch Miracle, and Herb Brooks says, if you want a friend, talk to Coach Craig. He's Coach Craig. He's that friend. He's the guy you can go and talk to. But, it's not the 1980s anymore. He can't coach like Herb Brooks did, where, if they hate me, they won't hate each other. Well, you already know they don't hate each other. This is a great group of kids that all get along. If they hate you, they're going to play like shit because they hate you. You know what I mean? So he's got to find a way to walk the line.
Damn. This took a turn tonight. I love it.
Talk about anything and everything, man.
Dude,
and
this
being
is...
a former juniors player, like, I know I've seen a lot of styles of coaches. The Norwich Sea Captains coach, absolute buffoon.
Yeah, Kevin Cunningham.
Yep.
He and I are not fans of each other. We're not fans of each other. No
one's a fan of Kevin. Kevin's a buffoon. People don't want to play for him. I can't believe, what is it, Janny played for him. I used to play against Janny, number 7, I think. I used to play against him, and I can't believe he stuck around that long. He has to be a local. There's no other way he'd stick around that long, because Kevin's a buffoon. He threatened to fight Jeff. He got off the bench and threatened to fight Jeff in the Long Beach Municipal Arena. What is going on?
Have you heard the bus story about Kevin?
Oh, God. What did he do?
They were getting pumped by the Gins. And after the second period, he goes in the locker room and says, hey, pack your shit up. When the Gins come out for the third period, they're already on their way back to Norwich on the bus.
God.
And
He's
he got
such a bitch.
He got suspended for 10 games for that.
Yeah, because Kevin's a buffoon, and he doesn't belong anywhere near a coaching job. All he does is scream at his players. Nobody wants to play for him. Screams at referees. Threatens to fight other coaches. He threatens people on the ice, dude. I've seen him threaten kids on the ice. I'm like, you're a 40-something-year-old man. You think you'd have a little self-respect. But no, he's an absolute buffoon.
What do you think of the sweater vest?
I'd burn him in it. I'd burn him in it. Throw them both in a fire. That guy is... Can't stand it. Anything about him.
I was more excited for the Logan Plant and Clint Castlewall ladder match, but turns out...
Oh, dude, I would give Kevin the swiftest of chops to the throat and hope he chokes on his own words.
Can we make a charity boxing match over this?
Oh, dude, fuck boxing. Make it UFC so I can absolutely just do whatever the hell I want to him.
Maybe this is something with Trust the Progress. We can have like a fight night where guys who have beef can work it out in the cage.
Fuck, don't. Yeah, there's no working it out. It's just me putting him in a funeral home. Fucking Kevin, dude. I wish.
Oh my god.
So I don't know if you know this, but so Jeff, coach of the Sharks, Jeff Torrey,
Yeah,
used to call him Stonehands when he played semi-professional. And it's not because he couldn't stick handle. It's because he used to punch people so damn hard that they thought they were getting hit with rocks. And when Kevin threatened to fight Jeff in our own arena, I'm like, oh, Jeff, please just kick the shit out of him. I'd love to see this. Because I'm like, I know for a fact Jeff would absolutely pummel this guy. Like, Kevin hasn't seen a treadmill a day in his life. Oh. He's never been to the gym. And I'm like, Jeff used to beat people up for a living. Please. I love Jeff, though.
Spicy episode. We're balling right now. This is.
Oh, I love it. But no, I love Jeff though. Jeff knew how to walk that line that Cassidy's learned how to walk, where he could yell at you, but he would do it in a way that not everyone in the world's going to hear, the whole arena's not going to hear it. Or he'd pull you off to the side, or he'd yell at you in the locker room, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it was always constructive stuff. He was never singling people out. It was always a team thing. Like, if you screwed up, he'd let you know, sure.
Yeah.
But, that was an obvious thing. But, it's just, Cass needs to learn how to walk that line. And, I mean, it's no wonder that the Sharks are as good as they are now.
Right.
And, yeah, the league's different, but, Jeff still, he's coaching the way he's been coaching, and people respond to it. And I'd say he's, I love him to death. I gotta say he's my second favorite coach of all time because my youth coach that I had for pretty much my whole life growing up, he taught me a lot, not just about the game, but about being a good person, and so he's gotta be my favorite. But Jeff, if you ever hear this, I love you and thank you for everything you taught me as well.
Are we?
I wish you could kick Cunningham's ass. I really do. I'd pay to see that.
What do we have to say about Brian Erickson, the Northeast Generals? I'm going to say this right now before you trash another head coach here. I'm a big Brian Erickson fan. I love the man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind Brian. Is it the assistant coach, Locke?
Yeah, Daryl Locke.
Yeah, I don't like him because both of his kids are shitheads, and those are two of the guys that I don't respect at all because they would run around and try and hurt people.
Right.
And yeah, and then he took over the Gens actually. I think my second year. for a little bit because Erickson he had to take a year off, and I hate Locke. Erickson, I've never had a problem with. He
Good
ran
man.
he ran a great program.
He still does.
They're so successful. And, kudos to him for I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing a great job. Locke, on the other hand, fuck off. And tell your kids to fuck off too. Bunch of scumbags, all three of them. Fucking the older brother, the younger brother, and the dad. Bunch of scumbags.
We are just line them up, knock them down
dude,
with Logan Plant.
I play baseball too. Remember, just put them on a tee. I'll smack them.
Dude, you like this is a Lee Harvey Oswald Logan Plant, just taking shots at guys.
Hey, no. Hey. That's not nice. That was our president that guy killed,
Hey, JFK, he did leave Dallas with an open mind.
Yeah, fair point. A little bit more open than his wife would have liked to see, but
yeah, but hey, she got with that Greek shipping magnet shortly after, so everything was all right.
Yeah, I'm sure she was fine. Them Kennedys.
Man. Well, dude, this has been an absolute blast.
Oh, dude, this is a great time. I can't wait to do this with you and my brother.
Oh,
we should get Tyler out here too. I bet Tyler's got
need
some
Tyler.
choice words about Cass.
We need Tyler.
Let's do a whole episode about how shit Cass is.
No, let's not do a full episode about that.
Oh, but that would be such a blast.
How about this? Let's have a group therapy session. You, me, Brady, and Cass.
No, fuck Cass. I don't want anything to do with that bastard. I think he's met me all of one time, and he'd be lucky to never meet me again.
Oh man, I could just hear the meeting I'm gonna get called into when I get back from out of town. What was said on your podcast?
Why does this guy not like Cass?
I don't
know. His brother played for Cass, and he knows just about everything Cass ever said in that locker room, right? Oh, fair point. Think I don't talk to people. I've heard from a lot of those boys how there was 4 of them, 4 teammates living under one roof, and I heard everything from those guys. And I don't think I could find a Cass fan on that team. Oh, the Canadian?
No.
That's the black pads?
That's Sorensen. That's my boy.
Oh, you talking about Fish?
I guess so. Yeah.
Is he the backup that went in Long Beach for Game 2?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Fish.
Is he a serial killer?
I don't think so. He seems like a nice guy. I mean, I met him. Just about everybody on the team came over to send off the billets. So Seti and Liam were driving out the day after Talon flew out. So just about all the boys came over and partied until 1, 2 a.m. at my parents' house. But, he's a nice enough kid.
What's your thoughts on Sorensen, the Canadian goalie?
Oh, I love that guy.
He's the best.
I love Sorensen. He's a goofy guy, but I love him. He's such a good kid.
And Jack.
Oh, I love Jack. I've been Snapchatting him. He's going to come out this summer.
You know what my nickname for Jack is?
Oh, geez, what?
The DMZ.
Oh, jeez.
Because no one gets through.
Nice.
It's pretty solid, isn't it?
I do. I like that. He's going to come out this summer, actually, and hang out.
You got to get him on the pod.
Yeah, for sure. I'll let him know. But
you got to get me I want to go to a bonfire.
Ah, dude, I've got 17 acres of land about 30 seconds down the road.
You got any shooting spots?
Fuck yeah, I have 17 acres of land.
I need somewhere to shoot my handgun. You know anywhere?
Yeah, my land.
Dude, let's...
I have a dummy that's
Dude, let's
strapped
do some
to a
plinking.
tree.
Let's do some plinking.
Damn right. Yeah, my buddy and I shoot his handgun on our land. No one's gonna say anything. We're in the woods.
I'll text you.
And our neighbors across the river couldn't give less of a shit.
I'll text you about that, all right?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right, dude. Well, hey, I think that's about as good a note as any to wrap this thing up. Dude, incredible. This has been electric.
Absolute blast.
Some of it's gonna have to get edited out, but
that's okay. You know, I was able to say what I wanted to say.
You know
whether
what?
it's
You did.
getting edited or not. It
You
doesn't
did.
matter to me.
You know what? We went all in with full send.
I love
That's
it. If
the way to
Cass
do it.
ever gets fired, we'll do a full send with no edits.
We'll have him on first reaction.
No, if he ever gets fired, we're doing a full send, no edits.
What do you think he's doing right now?
Sleeping. It's 11:30 at night. He's definitely sleeping.
I don't think he's
That or he. You know what? I bet he's crying in a corner about how terrible of a person he is.
Dude. I feel like that's a bit far.
He's probably looking over his notes on how to yell at people. He's probably watching YouTube tutorials.
I don't think he has to look at notes.
Nah, he's trying to perfect it even more than he already has.
How
do I demoralize my players?
He's like Kobe in Miami renting a gym during the finals.
He's sitting there trying to figure out how to get around taking the safe sport testing.
Oh, that's getting edited out. That's far.
No, safe sport. You're not allowed to yell at the kids and say shit to them.
I know,
That's
but
part of
still,
safe
that could
sport.
it could be misconstrued. I don't want. Oh man, well, dude, thank you again.
This is a blast.
Yeah, we're gonna do this again. Well, folks, be back Monday. The neighborhood kids from Richardson on the pod. It's the East Richardson Mafia. That is going to be electric. We've all known each other since we were 5 years old, so.
Damn.
Yeah, and we were reunited for the first time in 15 years at a wedding last year. And
That's
so
crazy.
we are talking about doing all four of us just telling the stories, so.
You got to get a setup so that people can be in the same room as you and just
I know,
do like a one thing. That would be cool to get a group of everyone in the same room. That would be neat.
Yes. With the cameras where, it focuses on whoever's talking at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we got to get those sponsors next. So that's how we do that. And we get money in.
Yes.
All
Start
right,
plugging
Logan.
people. Be like, who wants to... Hey, talk to Evan. Maybe Evan will sponsor you.
Dude. Open for business. All right, Logan. Have a good one, buddy.
You too, brother.